Cold seasons pressed hard against land food supplies and movement across wide frozen Ice Age landscapes. Small human groups lived near survival limits, leaving almost no margin for serious survival mistakes. This documentary explores how Ice Age environments shaped where early humans could establish settlement patterns. It matters because settlement choices directly affected food access, safety, and long-term survival outcomes. We will examine pressures created by climate shifts, animals, and landscapes during Ice Age periods. The focus remains on early humans before civilization, using evidence from prehistoric scientific research. Ice Age climates shifted often, altering temperatures, ice coverage, and plant growth across many regions. These changes influenced where animals traveled, gathered resources, and survived through different seasons. Early humans depended heavily on animals, linking their movement closely to shifting ecosystems. Landscapes included glaciers, open plains, forests, rivers, and coastlines shaped by extreme cold. Each environment offered resources but also presented specific risks and survival limitations daily. Finding stable places required balancing. Shelter needs, food availability, and seasonal movement pressures. Permanent villages did not exist, so settlement meant repeated use of favorable locations. Groups returned to places offering reliable water materials and consistent hunting opportunities over time. Cold temperatures limited plant foods, increasing dependence on animals, and stored resources seasonally. This dependence raised danger when animal populations moved or declined unexpectedly during winters. Shelter became critical as exposure to wind and cold threatened daily survival constantly. Caves, rock overhangs, and temporary structures provided varying protection from environmental exposure. Access to stone, bone, and wood influenced how long groups could remain nearby. Staying too long risked resource depletion and increased competition with neighboring human groups. Movement patterns emerged from tension between stability, needs, and growing relocation pressures. Ice Age settlement remained flexible, cautious, and closely guided by environmental signals. Understanding these pressures explains why early humans repeatedly chose specific locations across generations. The next section turns toward archaeological evidence showing how these settlement patterns are known. Physical remains provide clues about location choices without revealing intentions or beliefs directly. These clues form the foundation for understanding Ice Age settlement within survival limits. Archaeological sites preserve traces of repeated human presence across Ice Age landscapes. Sediment layers show how groups returned seasonally to the same locations repeatedly. Stone tools concentrate, where resources supported longer. Stays for human groups during winters. Hearth remains indicate control. Fire use within sheltered settlement. Areas during colder periods. Animal bones found nearby. Reveal hunting focus around habitats. Favored by prey species. Cut marks on bones show systematic processing for meat, marrow, and fat resources. Tool wear patterns suggest repeated activities performed at the same sites over time. Different tool types cluster by environment, reflecting tasks suited to local conditions. Raw material sourcing shows travel routes, linking settlement areas across landscapes seasonally. Camps near water sources appear more frequently in archaeological records across regions. Water access supported. Drinking needs, animals, and tool, making for daily survival activities. Evidence of repeated fires suggests planned reuse rather than single brief visits. Site organization shows separate areas for sleeping, working, and food processing activities. Seasonal indicators in animal remains reveal timing of site occupation each year. These indicators help reconstruct movement cycles without relying on written records. Microscopic analysis of tools reveals materials worked and duration of use. Longer use suggests settlements lasted weeks rather than single days. Shorter use indicates brief stops during wider seasonal movement across environments. The mix of site types reflects flexible settlement. Strategies shaped by environmental pressure. Archaeologists compare many sites to avoid conclusions based on single locations. Patterns emerge only when evidence aligns across regions and time periods. Radiometric dating places settlement activity within Ice Age timelines using geological layers. These dates confirm repeated occupation during cold climatic phases, rather than warmer intervals. Combined evidence reduces uncertainty about how environments shaped settlement choices. However, evidence cannot reveal thoughts, beliefs, or social meaning behind behavior. Archaeology therefore focuses on actions preserved in physical remains across sites. These actions reflect practical responses to environmental pressures affecting daily survival. Scientific caution is required when interpreting incomplete or damaged prehistoric sites. Despite limits, consistent patterns strengthen confidence in settlement interpretations. This evidence base supports explanations grounded in survival needs rather than speculation. Archaeological findings connect environment, movement, and repeated settlement behavior clearly. They show settlement was not random but constrained by resources and climate. These constraints shaped where humans could return safely across seasons. The archaeological record anchors interpretations in material proof rather than assumptions. With evidence established, daily life impacts can be examined next. Daily life within Ice Age settlements revolved around managing cold food scarcity and movement risks. Groups organized activities to reduce exposure time outside shelter during extreme weather. Hunting required careful timing, cooperation, and knowledge of animal movement patterns. Success depended on understanding seasonal patterns rather than chance encounters. Meat processing often occurred near camps to maximize energy return. Marrow and fat extraction provided critical calories when plant foods were limited. Food sharing reduced individual risk and supported group survival stability. Fire use structured daily routines by providing warmth, light, and cooking ability. Maintaining fire required fuel gathering, influencing how far groups ranged daily. Shelter placement considered wind direction, ground insulation, and resource proximity. Temporary structures allowed flexibility, while still offering protection from harsh elements. Clothing made from animal hides reduced heat loss during travel and rest. Tool maintenance occurred regularly to ensure hunting and processing efficiency remained high. Broken tools required nearby raw materials or travel to known sources. Children and older members stayed closer to shelter during demanding conditions. This influenced group movement speed and settlement duration at locations. Longer stays allowed recovery planning and preparation for future movement. Shorter stays prioritized rapid resource use before conditions shifted again. Daily decisions balanced energy expenditure against survival returns in cold environments. These patterns reduced risk by avoiding unnecessary exposure or wasted effort. Settlement locations shaped routines by limiting or enabling survival tasks. Environments with diverse resources supported more stable daily life patterns. Harsh areas forced quicker movement and higher daily stress levels. Over time, daily adaptations reinforced settlement preferences through shared experience. Knowledge passed between generations improved survival efficiency within familiar locations. This learning reduced mistakes and increased long-term group survival chances. Daily life directly reflected environmental pressures acting on settlement choices. Settlement was not comfort-focused, but risk-managed under constant Ice Age stress. These experiences explain why certain places became repeatedly used settlements. They show how environment shaped behavior through daily survival demands. The impact extended beyond daily life into broader human history. That broader significance appears when considering Ice Age settlement overall. Ice Age settlement patterns influenced how early humans expanded across continents. Environmental limits shaped migration routes by favoring familiar landscapes. These patterns encouraged gradual expansion rather than uncontrolled movement. Flexible settlement strategies supported survival across changing climates. Knowledge of environments became as important as physical tools. Groups understanding landscapes planned movements more effectively across seasons. This planning reduced mortality and supported population continuity. Settlement choices therefore shaped demographic stability over thousands of years. Repeated use of locations created shared knowledge across generations. This knowledge formed cultural continuity grounded in environment. Ice Age environments did not allow permanent settlement structures. Instead, they guided repeated return patterns across landscapes. These patterns balanced movement with familiarity. They reduced risk in unpredictable conditions. As climates later changed, flexible strategies supported adaptation. The Ice Age shaped settlement behavior through constraint. Early humans survived by fitting within environmental limits. Settlement depended on where survival could repeat reliably. This explains how environment influenced early human settlement. The Ice Age environment enforced flexibility, caution, and repeated location use. This understanding connects survival pressure to settlement choice. It shows settlement was an adaptive response. This perspective clarifies the title's promise clearly. Reflecting on this helps us understand survival shaped by environment. What part of Ice Age settlement behavior stood out most to you? Share in comments. If this documentary helped you, consider subscribing for more prehistoric history content. Thank you for watching, and feel free to like or share this video.